Hi, and welcome to the webinar. It is fantastic to have you here. My name is Jackie Opie, and it is such a delight to have you here. Now, I'm just going to be going live on Facebook at the same time. Hi, and welcome. It's Jackie here, and I'm doing Bringing Sexy Back to Your Relationship. And I've got this in two channels at the moment. I'm taking a leaf out of my mentor's book, Sandra Bravo, and running two at the same time. So at the moment, I'm on Facebook Live and I'm also on a webinar. And what I'm going to be talking about today is bringing sexy back to your relationship. And it's a great time of year to be doing this actually, because is kind of when things get a little bit tense in a relationship, and quite often over Christmas is a time when we have the opportunity to share time with each other. And I don't know about you, but when I'm not really feeling connected to my partner, it really makes it challenging in terms of spending time together, because if you haven't spent a lot of time together this year and you're feeling a little bit disconnected from each other, what can tend to happen is over the Christmas period, time to be together, but what you end up doing is just arguing with each other. Hi, Brenton. Nice to have you. Hi. Hi, Ainsley. Hi, Shani. I didn't see your name. Hi, Lee. How you going? So really, this is about how to make sure that over the Christmas period, you have the best fun in your relationship with your partner. Because what's the point in having time together when really all you're doing is just arguing and fighting with each other because you haven't felt connected throughout the year? So tonight is going to be an amazing time. We're going to be about 20 minutes or so. So one of the things that I really want to share with you is looking at your relationship and where things are at for you right now. I don't know where you are, so just pop in the comments. I'd love to see both on the webinar and on Facebook Live. Where are you from? What's the weather like for you at the moment? Hi, Brenton. How you going? For me, I'm in Adelaide at the moment. It's about 2 minutes past 7 in the evening, and it is a steaming hot day. It's been about 35 degrees today, but I'm absolutely loving it. This time of year for me, weather-wise, it's just absolutely beautiful. I love it. So let's jump straight on in. So I'm having a look at some of your comments here. Tell me where you are, guys. I'd love to know where you're from. Hi, Nick. Nice to see you here. So what we're talking about today is bringing sexy back to your relationship. Because if you've been in a relationship for a while, you might find that things tend to get a little bit stale and a bit boring. So to see you here, hun. So if you're in a relationship at the moment and things are tough for you and it's getting boring, I've got some great strategies for you. So the reason I want to do this now is because this time of year it's really important. You're reconnecting with family, you've got a lot on, there's lots of pressure for heaps of people. Hi, it's Ainsley. Good, you're from sunny Perth, Australia. Nice and sunshine. It's good to have you here. Hi, Rena. Nice to see you, hun. So what I want to share with you is getting sexy back into your relationship, right? When we get into the day-to-day activities and things just become kind of like routine in your relationship, things can get so boring. It can get really boring. So I want to give you some strategies on how to add that zing, how to add that zest back into your relationship. So you feel excited, you feel exuberant in your relationship, and you just hands off of each other, and you, I hate saying this, but you really start to frustrate the people around you because they're like, oh my God, can't you two just keep your hands off of each other? And Craig and I get that a lot, and that's okay because I'm really happy with that. I guess, the first thing is really identifying some signs. What is it that happens in your relationship where you start to realize that things are not as amazing as what they used to be? Thank you for joining me on the webinar. If you're there, let me know who you are and pop in the chat where you're from. I'd love to hear from you. So at this, how do you recognize when there are issues that you can make sure that you keep on track? So you've got to have, like anything, you've got to have some measures in place, right? There's ways to identify when things aren't really going. Hi, Benny, nice to see you. Hi, Emmanuel, nice to have you here. So let's talk about this, right? How to identify when things aren't going so well in your relationship. And listen, guys, I have to tell you, the reason I know this so well is because my relationship is not perfect. I've been married 23 years. In fact, we've got our 23rd wedding anniversary in 2 days' time. And we've had our tough times. Things have been really challenging, but we know what the signs are in our relationship. We actually know what to look for so that we can start to identify when things are going pear-shaped. Because the worst thing that I hear really I feel for people when they say things like, I just didn't realize that it was that bad. And I hear that a lot from guys. I didn't realize it was so bad. In the meantime, she's been saying to you, let's go see a counselor. Let's book in date night. I feel disconnected. And sometimes we don't take it as seriously as we could when they're saying, hey, you need to do something. You need to make something happen in your relationship, because if you don't, you're not going to have a relationship to even talk about. So here are some of the things to really think about in your relationship. If you're not communicating clearly with each other, if you're finding it challenging that every time you initiate a conversation, you end up in an argument, that's not a good sign. It means it's a disconnect between you. It's a disconnect of understanding, and a disconnect not just in the communication, but in how you are, how you're sharing what you're feeling, and how your partner is taking how you're feeling. So when there's not great communication, when you feel like you end up in arguments all the time, or you're not actually talking at all, feel like you've done it all before. You've done all the talking, you're actually sick of it, you're over it. That's a really, really dangerous position to be in, because when you're at the point where you're over it, yeah, it's a dangerous place to be, especially when you have that feeling. Hi, Mohit, nice to have you here. Especially when you have that feeling of just like, what's the point? Having the conversation. So those are some serious signs to know that there is something seriously wrong. You need to do work here. Other signs is just feeling totally void, like you feel empty. There's no point to what you're doing. You kind of can't see a future with your partner anymore, but you don't know what to do. So you might be feeling all of these things, but you're not necessarily putting strategies in place so that you can actually deal with these things. So these are some of the signs to look for in your relationship. If there's signs in your relationship, I'd love you to put it in the comments so I can have a look at that. You know, what is it for you that you identify, things that you recognize in your own relationship when you actually know that things are not going really well? So I'd love you to pop those in the comments, and I'll have a look at, I'll see when I get a chance to have a look at those and actually talk to you about some of them. So hi, Leanne. Oh, hi, Leanne. We've got Leanne on the webinar. It's nice to have you here, hon. So pop in the comments with, you know, any issues that you're having, because we can certainly talk through these. But this is about how to add that, just the desire, the passion back into your relationship, making it exciting for yourself. So let's talk about the risks. What happens if let's say that you're at a place in your relationship now where you're kind of going, you know what, I'm here for the kids, or what else would I do, or financially we can't afford to separate, so I'm just going to hang around. Well, risks of some of that is, so the first major risk is really the obvious one. It's the risk of separation. If we don't do something, if I don't change something in my relationship now, things are only going to keep getting worse. It's not going to get better if you're not doing something about it. So the highest risk that there is the separation. And actually, there's a higher risk than that, and that is the risk of staying together and being unhappy. Because what could be worse than being in a relationship and actually feeling completely alone? There's no lonelier place to be than in a relationship where you feel detached from each other, because you can't really go out there and in integrity seek out else and to talk to other people about it. So it's a massive risk. Okay. So the other one is becoming immersed. One of the risks is becoming immersed in something that continues to distract you and continues to pull you away from your relationship. So let's say you go, oh, well, you know, I'm not happy in my relationship, so I'm going to go find a hobby, or I'm going to make new friends or join new groups. Well, the risk is that you're continuing to separate yourself from your partner. It's not going to get any better. It's actually going to continue to get worse. Not that I'm saying don't have incredible things that you do together. Of course not. And don't not have your own friends outside of your relationship. That's really important, to stay independent, to continue to do the stuff that you love, but don't use it as an excuse or a reason to pull yourself out of your relationship. Okay, awesome. So, and the last one is finding yourself in a loveless relationship where you just feel completely disconnected from your partner. I mean, really, really tough place to be. So let's get to the good, juicy stuff here. How do you add more of that excitement back into your relationship, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship? And long-term to me is anything where you kind of feel really comfortable with each other. The excited stage where you get a text message from your lover and you're like, oh my God, they just messaged you, and you get really, really excited. It's when it's gone beyond that. And normally that's about a year and a half. For some people, it can go up to 3 years, lucky you. When it's beyond that point, I call that a long-term relationship, because the excitement is not what drives you anymore. The adrenaline is not what drives you anymore. Hi, Jenny, nice to see you here. The adrenaline is not what drives you anymore. And this is where the oxytocin and the dopamine starts to deplete in your body, because oxytocin and dopamine are those two hormones that really keep you connected as a couple. So dopamine when you're really happy, and oxytocin from touch. So that's about as well. So here's some things that you can do to reignite that passion in your relationship, to honestly bring the sexy back into your relationship. So number one is around the oxytocin. Now, you may not feel like doing this, and this is probably going to be the biggest challenge for you, but the one thing that is so critically important to do in a relationship when you're not feeling connected with each other is to actually touch one another. And the reason for that is oxytocin is what's produced in your body when you're touching one another, right? So the hugs, the kisses. Hi, Lara, nice to have you here. The hugs, the kisses, that intimacy with your partner releases oxytocin, and that's the body, the hormone that's released when a woman is breastfeeding, or when you're hugging your best friend, or when you're having sex with somebody that you love, right? So the more touch you have with your partner, it doesn't have to be sexual touch to start off with. Because if you're feeling completely distant from each other, and I'm saying to you, yeah, go make love every night, you're going to go, are you crazy? I can't even talk to the person. How am I supposed to make love to them every night? So this is about giving you strategies and steps that are going to build it back up. Because it's not, the likelihood of it happening overnight is really, really slim. So your level of expectation around how quickly things are going to change in your relationship is really important. You know, if you're at a point really challenging, I would give it a minimum of 3 months. Hey, Courts, how you going, honey? Nice to have you here. Give it a minimum of a year is good. But for some people, it's going to be like, you know what, I'm so over this, I'm so tired, I'm already exhausted, how am I going to do it for a year? Just do it for 3 months and do the best that you can in those 3 months and see how you feel after that. So the first one is touch. Touch as often as you can, many places as you can, even if you're driving other people nuts, even if they yell out from the car, and I've had this, better room, you two. So what? That's bloody awesome, because if you're in that space where you're connected with each other, it adds back that fun and excitement. Courts, get your sexy on, honey. So yeah, just touch as much as you can. Make sure that you feel connected to your partner. It doesn't have to be sexual touch. Holding hands, hugging each other, a kiss in the morning, and actually structuring this. So there's a really awesome app that you can get. I don't know if you can get it for you can get it for iPhone, and it's called Sexulator. Sexulator. It's like a calculator, but it's a sexulator. And so what you can do is you can actually put in every time you kiss and every time you have a sexual act, you can put it into the second. What you'll be able to do is at the end of the month, look at it and go, wow, we haven't really connected. No wonder we feel disconnected from each other. Or you could look at it at the end of the month and go, wow, babes, look at this. Like, we've been so connected, and you'll be able to feel the difference through touch. So that's number one. Lots and lots of touch to release heaps of oxytocin. The next one is, and this is going to be challenging for you, maybe, even if you're in a relationship where you feel disconnected from your lover right now, apart from that, it's so much easier for your partner to love you when you are a happy human being. Happy and you're wanting to build your relationship, how hard is it going to be build an amazing relationship but you're miserable inside of it? So I don't want to use the word fake it till you make it, but in a sense you have to kind of give over to allowing yourself to be happy regardless of what your relationship, either way. So if you feel like my eye contact is jumping between two things, I'm actually on Facebook Live and I'm on Webinar Jam. So just so that you know, don't have eye Tourette's. I'm just making sure that I have eye contact in both areas. So be happy anyway. It doesn't not to say that it doesn't matter what's going on in your relationship, but regardless of, hi Jason, regardless of what's going on, if you're not a happy person inside of yourself, it's really hard to reconnect in your relationship. So do what lights you up. Do what makes you happy. Do whatever it is that puts a smile on your face. Like, it's easier for you to love somebody and can you feel happy around them and when you feel amazing. So be the best version of you, because when you're the best version of you, it's easy for somebody else to love you. Easier. I'm not always easy to love, but I can be easier to love when I'm in a great space. Awesome. Okay, so that's about making sure that you're the happiest version of yourself that you can be. The next thing is to find the things in your relationship that made you happy in the first place. Hi, Mom. My mum's here. Love it when my mum's here. The next thing is to make sure that you do the things that you did when you first started out in a relationship. Now, look, if you met in your 20s and you were partying in pubs every night and, you know, sleeping in until 11 o'clock on a Saturday and Sunday morning, and you can't do that anymore, I totally understand. And look, what you were like in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, it's all different. About the person who you love. What was it about your partner that you so fell in love with and you just want to reconnect with that? Find ways to relive some of those experiences. Because, hi, Barbara, nice to see you. And hi, Katie, sorry. Find those ways that you can reconnect with your beautiful lover, because we get so busy. We get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, whether you've got kids or businesses or you're both working or whatever it is. Money stresses, time pressure, connection pressure, all of those things become an impact on your relationship. So find ways that you guys can reconnect with each other. And it might be going back to, hey, you know, when we first got together, what was it that we loved about being together? What was it that really lit us up about each other? Find that. And that's a great exercise to be able to do. Hi, Rosemary. Nice to have you here. That's a great way of making sure that you are able to reconnect with your lover. So what was it? What lit you up? What got you really excited? You know, what did you stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning talking about? What was it that you fell in love with your partner, and what was it about you that they fell in love with? And sometimes just having those conversations can be so empowering. Hey, Ali, nice to have you here, hun. Yep, we're older now. This is how we used to connect over alcohol. You know what, babes? You are not alone. Craig and I used to stay up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We'd have a big tub of ice cream. We'd pour a bottle of rum into the ice cream and we'd eat that. And we would just talk for hours and hours and hours. And so that made it really challenging for us to find ways to honestly truly connect with each other. And so it does take energy and effort. It's about finding other ways, because the thing that happens is the excitement disappears. We get into that everyday life and we're kind of like, oh my gosh, it used to be so amazing. But find other things that you can put to bring that excitement, like booking a weekend away with each other, or going on a mystery flight, or, you know, locking down the house and blaring music in your bedroom while you create a playlist and make love all night long. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do that straight up, because if you're in a space in your relationship right now where you did, the idea of making love all night long is going to horrify you. So it's baby steps, it's little things. Where are you right now? So that you've got to take the next logical step. You can't go from I can't stand looking at you to making love all night. It's not going to happen that way. Put the baby steps in place. Ali's saying we drink wine and eat cheese and bickies. Fantastic. You know, if that's what lights you up, if that's what excites you. Now, Ali, I think that you've stopped drinking as well. That was a conversation that you and I had. So, you know, what is it that you can do to replace that, to keep that excitement? And maybe, you know, it could be a bottle of non-alcoholic champagne. See how that goes for you. Right, so that's the next one. Another one that I want to talk to you about is surprising each other. We so get into this rut of just like, you know, I start my day, I work my tail off 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are, and then get home, it's like, yep, back into the normal routine. But what did you do throughout the day? Hi, Pete, that's my uncle. Nice to have you here. What did you do during the day that really helped you guys connect with each other? Like a text message saying, hey, babes, just thinking about you, or a letter in their lunchbox, you know, if you're making their lunch for them, or whatever it is, anything that you can do, a single flower that you pick for them on your way back home. It doesn't even have to be money that you're spending. It could just be that they need to know that you're thinking about them at some stage during the day. I did something with Craig a couple of months ago. I said, honey, I don't care what you do for me today. I just want you to do 3 amazing things for me. I don't care what it is. I just today that you thought about me. He made me coffee in bed. He bought me a beautiful bunch of flowers, and he made me a beautiful divine roast for dinner. And it was awesome. Did it cost a lot of money? No. Did it take heaps of time? No. But it was knowing that he was doing it for me. He was there 100% for me. And the other thing is, this is for the ladies. Ladies, if you want something from your partner, you have to ask for it. Expecting him to read our minds, and this is, I'm talking about myself here. When I expect my partner to read my mind, it's like stuff goes out of control, because then I hold him accountable to something he didn't even know he was being held accountable to, and it's just not fair. Lots of women that I speak to go, I just want him to do something special for me, but they're not prepared to have that conversation with their lover. Have the conversation with the person who can help you with it. Not your best friends, not your girlfriends, not anybody else. You have to have that conversation with your partner and give them what they need so that they can actually go out there and do the things. Because I can almost guarantee you, this is talking to both ladies and men, guarantee you, your partner wants you to be a happy person. And they don't want to, they're not deliberately trying to upset you. If they are, that's a different kind of story altogether. That's a self-sabotage relationship. That's different. We're talking about 2 people who love each other but just feel disconnected from each other here. So make sure your lover knows what they need. Cassie's saying yes. They don't know. If they don't know, exactly. Give them what they need, because, gosh, I know for me with Craig, when I give him what he needs, when I tell him what I want and he does it, it lights him up. He feels like the hero of my life, and he is the hero of my life because he listened. He actually did what I asked for. Ellie's saying expectations lead to disappointments. Absolutely, they are for everybody, because your partner feels like they let you down, but they couldn't even uphold a promise because they didn't even know it existed. It was just here. Thanks, guys, for your interaction. It's really awesome. So grateful. So the next one is making time. If anything's important to you, Lara's saying, we're married now, haha, hubby thinks I should be a mind reader. We laugh and talk about this now. You're fantastic. Hey, listen, laughter is one of the best forms of medicine, right? You can either get really furious at each other, or you can go, you know what, we did the best that we could, we're trying really, really hard, we're challenged most of the time, but have a good laugh about it. Laughter is a great medicine, and it's also great for the dopamine levels and the oxytocin as well. Awesome. Think about your business, your career, your children, anything that you want to be successful at, you've made time for. If you've progressed up the ladder in your workplace, it's because you did some study, or it's because you invested time or energy or money into getting better at what you did. If you run a business, you invest your money in marketing, you invest your money in yourself so that you can get better all the time, and you invest time in yourself as well. When you've got kids, you invest time into your kids to make sure that they are, that the best version of themselves. Yet it tends to be that when it comes to our partners, we feel like it's okay to put things on the back burner and everything else becomes a priority. I'm just going to read the comments quickly. Ainsley's saying, sometimes we ring each other during the, exactly right, like let each other know that you're thinking about one another. Thank you, Ainsley. And Lara's saying, totally agree, we laugh all the time, it's great. Awesome. And it's free and it's cheap. Hi, Marie, nice to have you here, babes. So make the time for each other. You can't expect to feel connected with one another when you're not investing time with each other. So think about your best friend, right? I have an amazing friend of mine. I went to school with her. We spent heaps of time together as a child. I haven't seen her or spoken to her in a really, really long time. The next time I see her, our relationship is not going to be anywhere near like it was in the first place. Hi, Murray. It's not going to be like it was because we've had this gap of time. We haven't made the investment with each other to say, hey, how are you going? I'm here for you. So factor into your relationship to make sure that you've actually got the time to build your relationship. You can't expect that it's just going to magically be amazing. You have to invest the time. Now, I know people talk about booking date nights all the time, but the thing is, we talk about it, but do we actually do it? Are you actually doing it? Talking about it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, and it doesn't mean that it's going to improve your relationship. You have to actually do something about it. Is that you get religious about your date nights and make it non-negotiable. One of those things that it doesn't matter what happens. Even if your best friend rings you up and says, hey, you've had a date booked in with your partner, and your best friend rings you up and says, Friday night, you know what, we're having this amazing night out, we'd love you to come. By saying to your partner, sorry, I'm going to say no to our date, and then going out with your best friend, what are you actually communicating? What are you saying to your partner? It's not that important to me. You're not that important to me. When you make the time for your partner and for yourself, because this is for both of you, each other, you schedule it in and you make it a non-negotiable, and nothing else takes away from that space. That is a gift. It's a gift, and it's a gift that you give to your partner, and it's something to be so cherished. Time at the end of the day is the only thing we have. We have nothing else to give, really. Really, all our partners want from us is that commitment of time, is show me you care, show me you love me, show me that you're not going to ditch me when you get a better offer. Think about yourself. You've planned a beautiful date night out and your partner says, hey, you know what, don't worry about it. Look, we've got something else planned tonight. No, sorry, I'm not going to make date nights. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do that to your partner. Keep your partner. They're the most important commitments you'll ever keep. Okay, I'll get off my high horse. All right, what's the next one? Treat your lover as if they were your best friend. What I love about this is, when I think about my best friends, it's always I'm having fun with them. So the interaction that we have with each other is just incredible. We're always talking. I stay connected with them. I message them during the day. I might not speak to them all the time, but when I do, I'm to it. I don't sit there on my mobile phone texting somebody else or acting like there is somewhere better in this world to be than there, right in their steam. We have fun together. We're mischievous together. We catch up on old times. If your partner is your best friend, that is such a beautiful way to create such a strong connection with each other. Ainsley's saying, my partner spoiled me with tickets to an event he knew I'd enjoy, so we get to go together. That's awesome. When you can find things that you both love doing together, that's just such a great space to be in. So what is it that you share? And Ainsley, I'm almost guessing for you guys, it's either musical or it had to do with personal development. And Ali's saying, put it in your code of honor. Absolutely. So hi, Sheb, nice to see you, hun. So Ali and I have had a conversation about what's a code of honor. A code of honor is like a set of guidelines for how you communicate with each other and the agreements that you have in place with one another. So a code of honor is almost like a value sheet where you can put down, we always keep our promise to each other. Date night is non-negotiable. When we're full on arguing and one of us walks away, it's okay. That's because I used to follow Craig and argue with him when he was running away, and I'd follow him. So now in our code of honor is, no, I don't follow him. I let him have his space, and then we come back to it later on. Hey, Sheb. So make sure that you treat your partner like they're your best friend and have fun with them, have a ball. Because when you think about it, in a relationship, what we're generally doing when we're in a longer-term relationship, it's just all about the doing stuff, finances, housework. If you've got kids, it's all about the kids. It gets boring. It gets so boring. And how can you be expected to have an amazing love life, to have wild, crazy sex, with feel like you're really doing is just mastering housework or mastering all the other stuff that needs to be done on a day-to-day basis. So it's got to be exciting. It's got to be kept interesting. So those are my top tips for you. Very, very quick review for you. Things to be aware of when in a relationship, when you're not communicating well with each other, when you feel like you're completely disconnected, when you feel like you're alone in a relationship, that you have to do something. If you don't, the risk is separation or feeling lonely in your own relationship, or just being completely unhappy in yourself as a person. So the things to do to make sure that you stay connected: touch each other often, be happy anyway. Release dopamine in your body. Find the things that excited you about each other in the start of your surprise each other. So get the excitement back. Do things that make you think about each other during the day. Make time for one, schedule it in, and treat your lover like they're your absolute best friend. So those are my top tips for you. If you feel like you need help and support in this area, I've got a couples retreat coming up, or couples adventure getaway, which is in February next year. So, and I would post a link to it here. I'd love to have you there. The reason I want my mission in life is to work with couples to help them stay together, because couples who should be separated, because in all honesty, some couples shouldn't be together. For example, my mum and dad were that couple. If you're still here, you know what I mean. Some couples shouldn't be together. This is not about forcing couples to stay together. This is about knowing that you've put everything into a relationship, that you've put your heart and soul into it. And if after that you shouldn't be together, then my blessing and your own blessing to move on. But in a lot of relationships, I feel like we sometimes put them on the back burner because other things become more important. So the couples adventure getaway is the opportunity for you and your beautiful partner to connect with each other over 3 days. It's in February. I'll post the link up. And it's an opportunity to spend some time together, to work out how you communicate with each other. Hey, Kev, nice to see you, hun. To work with each other, and I've got some activities that will seriously challenge you and will bring to the forefront some of the ways that you're sabotaging your relationship, and also things that you're doing really well in your relationship. So you'll have the opportunity to do that. It's in the beautiful McLaren, Australia, in February. It is for couples only. So if you're singles, I've got other events that you can come to for that. But the couples retreat, we do breakfast in bed for you. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing on Saturday. You can read it on the website. But it's really, really exciting. And what I've done is kept it interactive, because I know one thing. Guys in a conference room talking about their relationship, they would rather stick needles in their own eyeballs than do that. Am I right, guys? And ladies, if you were trying to get your partner to come to a retreat where they were just sitting around talking, you'd have a massive challenge on your hands. So this is a doing. It is a lot, or motorbikes. Well, Ainsley, or motorbikes. Yes, if motorbike, and I know that you two are both riders. That's awesome. You've got to have things that you can do to create an environment where you both feel comfortable, and that's what the Couples Adventure Getaway has been created from. I've done loads of research about how to get the best out of people when they're in that communication space, how to create a high-pressure situation where you are forced to interact, and where we will have the opportunity to really debrief on that and help you understand where you're doing things really, really well, and what some of the challenges are that are going to continue to hold you back in a relationship. And how powerful is that, to have somebody looking in from the outside and going, hey guys, is this, and this is what I can do to help you, and this is how you can support and help yourself. So I'll pop that in on the link. And the dates are the 24th, 25th, and 26th of February. And I would absolutely love, love, love to have you to 8 couples, because I need to be able to spend time one-on-one with people during those 2.5 days, actually essentially 2.5 days. So I've limited to 8 couples. We've got 4 couples already booked in, and we haven't even really launched or done very much marketing around it. And the reason I'm not doing heaps of marketing is because I know who I want at the couples retreat. It's people who I know that I can help and support. So if you're interested, drop me a line, and I'd love to keep you posted. Thank you so much for being here. You're an absolute blessing in my life. I'm so grateful for your comments and for your feedback and for your support. Have an amazing night. Thanks for being here, guys. See you. Facebook at the same time. Hi and welcome. It's Jackie here, and I'm bringing sexy back to your relationship. And I've got this in 2 channels at the moment. I'm taking